Today in the shop I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. That's right. If you've got an old car that you're working on and it's not a common model, it's likely that the horn button is not available aftermarket anymore. So you're going to have to fix the one that you've got. But don't worry, it's very cheap, it's not that difficult to do, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. As you can see, this is what my horn button looked like when I got started. Lots of cracks in it, pitted. Alright, so the first step is to separate the horn button retaining ring from the actual horn button itself. And what you might have to do, if yours is far gone like mine is, you might just have to break it to get inside of there. So it's going to be tricky to get inside of this thing because it's a press fit. You're going to need this original one to shape the new one. So if you do happen to break it, make sure you put it back together, glue it up back together so you can use the form. Ideally, it'd be nice to get this press fit ring off and to get at the actual horn button without breaking it. Mine broke when I took it apart, but I went ahead and glued the piece back together. This little piece right here broke off, and I was able to get some leverage in there and push the thing apart. Okay, so now you've got your base plate, you set that aside. You've got this insert, which is beautiful, which you want to save this, make sure it doesn't get messed up. Anyway, so we'll set that aside. And you take your ring, and you're gonna need your ring, you're gonna need some gloves, you're gonna need a heat gun, and you're gonna need a piece of plexiglass. Now I was able to measure my horn and find this piece of plexiglass already pre-cut online for about $1.50 on, I believe it was eBay, it might have been on Amazon. So you want to measure your retainer ring on the inside and see if you get lucky to find a pre-cut piece. Otherwise you're gonna have to laser cut it out yourself, which I have a laser cutter, but fortunately I didn't have to do that. This was available on eBay for $1.50. You want to take your old horn button plastic cover. If it broke when you took it apart, you need to go ahead and glue it back together. Then I have a surface here that I know will hold the center of it, so you're gonna need to push down on it. So you're gonna need to find something that you can set inside of this that will hold it up and give you support all the way around it. The idea behind this is to take this piece of plexiglass, heat it up with the heat gun, use the retainer ring to push it down and force form it onto this. Now, you're gonna need gloves for this because this ring is gonna get very hot. The plexiglass is gonna get very hot. So you definitely need to have gloves, and you need to have gloves that are gonna work for you, because what you'll find is in order to keep the form of the plexiglass, you actually have to press it down pretty hard and hold it. And if you don't have good enough gloves, it's gonna start heating up your fingers. So my recommendation, and what I'm going to do this time, is I have another pair of gloves I'm going to put on before I put this pair of gloves on, so I don't have any problem with heat getting to my fingers and bother me. But it's really not that bad. It's a pretty easy job and super cheap. So let's go ahead and do it. So you want to take the protective layers off. You won't need those. Alright, center it up. You can kind of get a good view from above. Put your gloves on. And once you have it well supported, you've got it centered, you've got your gloves. Not quite there yet. And you're going to hold it in place. This is where those thick gloves will really help you out. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to match it to this piece and make sure it clears all the way around. If it clears all the way around, you're good to go. So that's great. The next step, once you've made your form, the next step, to make sure that everything clears and sandwiches back together, you're going to need to grind this edge right here. You're going to need to take that edge down. So I'm going to set this in my refrigerator real quickly to make sure that it's fully not going to flex at all. While that's in the refrigerator cooling off, I wanted to give a shout out to Rand of Rand Engine Systems in Chattanooga. I took my Pontiac 400 block down to him and I got it back just a couple weeks ago, and he does great work. Very reasonably priced, great guy to deal with. So if you're in the Chattanooga area and you need machining done, contact Rand at randenginesystems.com, and that's my shout out to him. Here we go, back to it. You don't want to be breathing plexiglass dust. So, there we go. What I did on the one that I've already done is I actually stepped through some grits and then I hit it, used some polishing compound and put this on a high-speed buffer so that you don't see any scratches inside. I get perfectly crystal clear. So now you know how to do it. You put it back together like this, put this on like this, and voila. Now you might want to get a little metal polish. Make sure you hit that pretty good. Hit it with some compressed air afterwards to get all the dust out. You want it to be totally clean when you put it back together, because whatever you trap inside of there, you're going to be staring at when you're sitting in traffic next time. So I recommend taking your time, do a good job, sandwich it all back together, and Bob's your uncle. So I think that's a pretty easy and cheap process for restoring a horn button. I think it looks great. Let me know what you think in the comments, and stay tuned because there's more with this Pontiac coming up that you're not going to want to miss. Thanks for watching. Get yourself some lube. Make it a little easier to slip that ring back over the horn. The other thing you want to make sure is when you do slip the ring back over the horn button, you have it in the right orientation where it clicks back in when you put your steering wheel back together.